everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the 5G Hype, the series where we look beyond the buzzwords and dive straight into what's really happening behind the scenes with 5G. As many of you already know, our sponsor Qualcomm is one of the leading industry players pushing 5G forward, and they'll be sharing their latest insights with us throughout the series. Today, we'll be tackling the topic of evolving LTE IoT for the massive Internet of Things, examining what it is and how it compares to LPWA solutions, where it fits in with 5G NR, and what's on the horizon. With us today to shed some light on the subject are Rasmus Helberg, Qualcomm's Senior Director of Technical Marketing. And we also have with us today Brian Makarowski, and he is Director of Marketing Development at Sierra Wireless. Thank you guys for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I want to jump into this idea of what is LTE IoT. So Rasmus, can you start us off with a brief summary here? I mean, give us a quick sketch. What is LTE IoT? What are the benefits compared to other low-power, wide-area technology solutions?
An essential part of connecting everything is actually used cellular technologies, and the prime technology that's being used or going to be the dominant technology going forward is LTE. LTE is already being established to globally, and one of the interesting thing from an IT perspective is for LTE is that it can scale from really high performance use cases like 4K surveillance camera requires a lot of data rates, maybe megabits per second, a couple of hundred, sorry, and as well as going down to really low complexity battery power things, and that's really where LTE IoT is fitting in. So the focus for this discussion today is really how we can connect the massive IoT in these low power, low complexity devices that in many cases are battery powered and requires really deep coverage. And we use the umbrella name LTE IoT for that. And it has two main components and two complementary technologies. It's eMTC and narrowband IoT. And the distinguishing factor here is that it is narrowband, and the current solutions today are more broadband to get these high data rates. One of the key solutions to get to this low complexity is go to narrowband solutions. The other aspects of it is to do power saving features as well as enable more density of application services. eMTC has the broadest range of applications with more reliable applications, whereas narrowband IoT is really extreme optimization for low complexity. So this solution now initially is really going to be deployed in mobile networks. And mobile networks have the advantage to using licensed spectrum that is ensuring the quality of service. And that is also one reason why this is beneficial compared to other solutions that are non-standardized. And LTE, as we know, is standardized by 3GPP. Some of the benefits to using this solution compared to other non-3GPP solution for wide area, low power solutions applications is that it is a global standard. It has ubiquitous coverage. It's everywhere. A global standard that has a mature ecosystem is also something that ensures interoperability. So a solution that's developed for one part of the world, it works everywhere because that's the nature of 3GPP and the standardization is developing standard. Other examples is also the inherent security. I mentioned that this is going to be used for licensed spectrum and primarily for mobile operators, but also an effort to bring this into unlicensed spectrum through what we call multifier, that is expanding the use of this use case. But really, the initial deployments are already happening now, taking place right now as we speak, is to expand this in mobile networks with Cat-M1 and expanding to NB, narrowband IoT as well.
So I want to go ahead and turn it over to Brian here. Rasmus, thank you for giving us some background, and maybe Brian can give us some more real-life context here. So, I mean, what are you guys seeing at Sierra Wireless? Give us a picture of how your customers are using this technology, and what are the most common applications?
Yeah, when we talk to our customers, what I see customers embracing LTE over IoT is around what Sierra Wireless calls the 3 C's of LPWA. This is cost, consumption, and coverage. Now, on the cost side, we are seeing customers move towards these LPWA technologies, and that's bringing more than a 50% reduction in costs compared to broadband LTE today. Now, as those costs are starting to approach 2G levels, our customers are starting to look at applications like predictive maintenance for your washing machine, and even monitoring your battery and your smoke alarm to ensure your family is safe. Now, on the low power consumption, we're starting to see LPWA providing power reduction by over 100 times. And it's now able to achieve over 10 years of battery life. This is starting to enable applications like smart residential water meters, parking space sensors, and even high-valued asset tracking like shipping containers or even tracking the family dog for that matter. And then finally, what's very important is the improved coverage that LPWA brings. This is where it's enabling applications where traditional cellular has had some challenges. For example, connecting security panels that may be in a deep underground basement, or even environmental sensors used in agriculture where cellular may not have the coverage today. Underlying all this is really our customers' desire to choose a standard that's based on a trusted ecosystem and that will be supported for many years to come.
Awesome. Thank you for the insights. And so I want to jump back to Rasmus because in our last episode of Beyond the 5G Hype, we talked about 5G. So I want to see if you can give us a more detailed look at where this technology fits in with 5G. I mean, LTE IoT, where does it fit in that 5G roadmap?
Yeah, so it fits in actually very well. And that ties back to what we heard about the longevity of the LTE networks, the ubiquitous coverage happening now. So LTE IoT is going to be the dominant solution for cellular IoT for the next decade and beyond. So let's get back to the vision of 5G, because the vision of 5G is pretty broad. It says like we should connect virtually everything. It has three classes of services. One is enhanced mobile broadband. That's more of the same that we have today, multi-gigabit peak rates. The second class of services is new class of IoT application, mission critical, ultra low latency, ultra reliable services. That is something new. The third class is, you can call it the massive IoT or the optimization for low power, low complexity things, exactly like what we're doing in LTE IoT. So what is going to happen is actually that LTE IoT is going to be the initial solution for 5G. So initially, what 3GPP is doing now is they're standardizing 5G, and it's under the new radio. They call it the new radio or NR. And they agreed in March to actually accelerate the deployment or the standardization, so we can enable deployment of 5G NR already in 2019. So that standardization, that focus is really a focus on enhanced mobile broadband, because that's where the highest need is. You need more capacity for richer communication of video services, whatever is driving the mobile broadband today, primarily for the smartphone form factor. But for the discussion that we have today here about LTE, the low-end, low-complexity application, that has not even started in 3GPP because we have already a good solution with LTE IoT. So LTE IoT is becoming an essential part of the 5G platform, complemented then by NR deployment, 5G NR deployments to provide enhanced mobile broadband and more capacity for high-end applications. Eventually, there's going to be a solution in 3GPP that addresses the massive IoT by an NR solution, but that has not even started. It might start in 2019.
Awesome. So I want to go ahead and just get Brian back on the line here. Brian, do you have any extra insights to add here? I mean, where does LTE IoT play into Sierra's vision of 5G?
Well, when I talk to our customers a lot, 5G is, it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. And really what I try to do to ground the conversation is that, the products that we're designing today around LTE IoT, I'll call it on 4G LTE networks today, they're going to be future-proofed and compatible with these future 5G LTE networks. All the investments you're developing and working on today, you don't have to worry about them being orphaned or have to redesign in the future. There's that longevity there. Now, 5G LTE also brings many enhancements. I mean, there's some specific areas we talk to customers around V2X, some of the enhancements in the unlicensed bands around LAA, positioning advancements, ultra-high reliability, and ultra-low latency. These are some features customers are really interested in and that will evolve over time. But again, products today are not being end of life. You have long, long life for them. Now, 5G NR will play a role in these future networks as well. And as Rasmus says, they're going to be focusing initially on these massive improvements in speeds, capacity, and density, as well as network efficiency. So long term, LTE IoT is here today. It's got a long road ahead of it. And you don't have to be worried that 5G is going to make you to change or redesign your product.
Okay. So I actually, Brian, want to ask you to expand on one thing you said. You mentioned that LTE IoT is here today. So can you give us a better picture of how Sierra is putting that into practice today? I mean, what's going on over there?
Well, Sierra Wireless, it's our core DNA to always be a leader in new wireless technologies. And we've been a very strong supporter of Lte Iot, contributing to the standards back in 3GPP as far back as 2008. There's been a lot of work been going on over the years, and actually in early 16, we started some pre-standard trials that we were demonstrating products. In late 2016, we actually started some very early public carrier trials, testing some new use cases and validating some of these new coverage enhancements and low power modes. And where we are today, well, we're starting to do initial commercial deployments. We have many customers that are integrating these Lte Iot technologies, testing them out, how they work in their products. Are they actually getting the better battery life? Are they getting better coverage? And we're actually now just starting to see the ramp. Our view is that there's a huge growth here, and 2018 and beyond, there's going to be a huge uptake in these technologies. It's actually a quite exciting time right now. Sierra Wireless is going to have a large portfolio of products to support all the technologies in Lte Iot across the world.
So I just want to wrap up here. Can you give us one key takeaway about Lte Iot that our viewers can take home today?
So Lte Iot is essential to the 5G platform. It's actually starting to connect the 5G massive IoT already today, and it's going to be the solution for the next decade and beyond.
Perfect. Well, that about wraps up our episode for today. Be sure for everyone to stay tuned for more behind-the-scenes 5G insights from Qualcomm. Our series is going to keep going. And we will be back again soon with another episode of Beyond the 5G Hype. I just want to thank Rasmus and Brian for being with us today. We appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much, Diana. It was my pleasure.
Thank you, too. It was my pleasure, too.
All right, great. Stay tuned, guys, and we'll be back again with another episode soon.